Alrighty. Bum 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 bum. Okay, and welcome to the Stupid Nerdcast. Today we have Juan as level 20 Cleric, and we have Zach as Raziel something, and of course we have as Spider-Mat, and me, Jordan, as Stupid Nerdman. I got an energy drink by my side, so no passing out. Alright, let's go.
I don't know if you listened to the last one, but you can audibly hear the second Jordan passes out.
Really?
I gotta go check that out now.
Yeah, you're just listening, you see it, Jordan responds to
I haven't
something you
posted
say,
it yet.
and then we're started talking, and then you audibly hear Jordan hit his head on the keyboard.
Nice.
That's weird. I don't remember hitting my head on the keyboard at all. Maybe I accidentally slapped it. Or something.
Yeah, it's towards your headphones hitting the side of the desk or something.
Oh, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely audible. Audibly, something happened to you. And then you just don't respond for 2 hours.
I could have been murdered, and you just didn't even investigate or anything. You just thought I was just silent, just going on with your conversation about frickin' Warframe and DotA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also really funny because you are actually participating in that conversation until that point.
Well,
it's not it's that's also I think what took us so off guard is you kind of just disappeared. But it was like you were actually in the conversation, which was also kind of weird because it was about stuff you didn't care that much about.
Yeah, I barely remember it. I need to watch over it to find out what we were saying. But when you're done editing it, are you already done editing it or no?
Yeah, it's already posted.
Okay, I'll get that and watch over it.
So when we start today, we're going to talk about something sad that happened 2 days ago. Which, in case anybody's wondering about the previous podcast, which if you're watching this on YouTube, it just came out. It'll come out a week ago. But if you're not watching this on YouTube, it will come out today. So when I was about to edit the podcast when this news hit, which is why it's just literally the least edit job that I could possibly do.
Uh-huh.
So we have to acknowledge the fact that Kentaro Miura, the author behind Berserk, has passed away at age 54. And many of the reasons why this is really sad is because he also did not complete the manga before he passed away.
Did he at least leave behind some sort of story path he was thinking of, or something that someone can pick up and run with, or?
It's weird. So as far as I know, in a lot of Japanese media, if they haven't do have an ending, they usually have talked to their assistants and stuff and have a plan of where it's all going to go.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure the heads at Toei, for example, have a general idea of where One Piece is going to go.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because I've seen a few of their intros that they've put on the anime have spoiled stuff for the manga before it even happened. And they can only know that if Oda has actually told them some of the stuff that's coming down the line.
Right. That makes sense.
So if he worked close enough with his assistants, they maybe know how he planned on ending it. If he had a plan for ending it, that's the other problem, especially with something like Berserk, where he didn't have really a plan of where it was going. And I actually want to read one of his quotes from 2019 that kind of like addresses part of this issue, which is he said, I pray to succeed in finishing it in my lifetime. When I started the series, I was less concerned with its ending than with telling a story that, in any way, would end sooner or later. But nowadays, I realize that life is not eternal. It is by taking care of my health that I try to complete the series. That was 2 years ago when he said that.
So he knew something was up. Like,
So yeah, no, he already, like, that's why it went on hiatus so much. I'm pretty sure is that like it was about health issues. He had to like take care of himself and not burn himself out. Like the other mangaka who is famous for big hiatuses does it in very similar ways. Is the guy behind Hunter x Hunter, Togashi. Yeah. So yeah, he takes off a long time for some stuff. But so a few things about Miura is he had been writing manga since like he was 10. So he's been in this industry for longer than, like, as far as his lifetime has been basically the same amount of his life as many other people, and he died so young.
that's pretty crazy.
He's been a professional mangaka since 18. Like, that's kind of insane, like, when you think about it, like how much he's done and how much work he's done, how much he's been a part of.
Yeah, even people that like didn't like watch the anime or read the manga or anything like me, like even his work still like influenced some of my favorite games out there. Like Dragon's Dogma was heavily influenced by Berserk. Dark Souls was heavily influenced by Berserk. Like I'm sure a lot of things just ripped off Berserk left and right. So yeah, definitely very influential, and it just kind of seeped into like almost every kind of media.
Yeah, there was I can't remember what it is now, but there was like a scene in something that I had watched recently where I was like, oh, that's the eclipse from Berserk. And like Berserk's also like the way it is, it's one of those things that like even among people who don't like anime or don't like manga or don't like Japanese written stuff generally for some reason or another, either because like it doesn't relate to them properly or they're like too old for it or whatever, usually Berserk is the one that they'll have read anyway.
Yeah, it's like one of those classic ones where you've maybe at least seen like, one episode, or like you've read like a little snippet here and there.
Yeah, because it's also like so different from so much around its time or even now. Like I think it has like more in common with like Game of Thrones than it does with like most mainstream anime.
Yeah, it did go pretty far. Like, I know I didn't, at the time we saw Berserk, I wasn't like all into anime and didn't watch a lot of it because it was still when I was pretty young, but it got pretty dark pretty fast, and I probably should not have watched it at the age that I did.
That's true. Berserk goes dark.
Yeah. Like, really fast.
It starts dark if you read the manga. It's only in the anime where the anime starts dark too, but it's like easy to forget some of those scenes.
It's like it goes dark, but it's like the basic dark stuff like murder and gore and all that shit. And then later, really fast, it goes to the other side of super dark where it's like rape and demon summoning ritual shit, fucking crazy. Mind being lost, going crazy and shit like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, where the manga starts is him like having sex with like a demon lady or something, and then she turns into like a xenomorph, and then he like cuts her in half.
Nice.
That's how the manga opens. That's like the first chapter.
Okay. I guess.
So I mean,
Okay.
And then you could also, just find some humor in the fact that just how ridiculously large his weapon was inspired so many other protagonists to just have absolutely ridiculously large swords.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
like, there's
Cloud
some
Sword is based on it.
Yeah,
Well,
if we didn't have Guts, we'd never have Cloud Strife.
Right.
There is some stuff about Guts that's like also like really interesting, but like is unintentional. So like I don't know if you guys know, but there is a mercenary leader. There was a mercenary leader from Germany who lost one of his hands and wore an artificial hand, and his name was Guts. And Miura had no idea this guy existed when he wrote Guts.
And
But like the parallels between the two of them are ridiculous, and like you're like, wait, what?
yeah.
I think the German Guts also had one eye.
Huh.
So I think it was like these were characters where everybody's like, oh, you inspired him from this guy, and he's like, I don't know who this was.
Maybe he had a psychic connection to him.
It's probably one of those things like in history where he just developed a character and it just happened to have similarities to a real person that existed because,
Right.
billions of people have lived.
It could also be like maybe it was like he read a history book or something and he didn't actively think about it, but he kind of in the back of his subconscious he thought about some of the characteristics of the guy or something.
Yeah. Maybe something that's stuck in his mind from like years and years ago that he just doesn't remember clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens all the time when you write creatively. And also, what was it? When Evil Dead was about to be released in Japan, or no, it was Army of Darkness was about to be released in Japan, he felt very uncomfortable because he was like, "This guy's missing an arm. My guy's missing an arm. This guy has a chainsaw hand. My guy has a gun hand." Like, yeah, he was a bit concerned Hollywood might sue him over it because they were too close together, but they were very distinct enough. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like they were distinct enough to be different, and then you start to like think about them as characters, and they're like they both fight weird primordial sources of evil.
Well,
That like transforms people into demons.
That isn't Bruce Campbell though.
Yes, I know. But it's like hilarious. Like when you start to think about it, and you're like, wow, these characters actually have a lot of similar themes. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, you don't really acknowledge it until someone else brings it up, though. Like,
Yeah.
I would have never related Ash to Guts at any point in my life until just now, because you said something.
Yeah, but if you think about it enough, you realize Ash and Guts are kind of similar.
Yeah. Except
But,
Ash is
yeah.
a little more silly.
Yeah, I mean, like as someone else has pointed out in a video I watched today about like something completely unrelated. Parallels are a thing that happen like so frequently in storytelling that you can't really use them to like determine anything.
Yeah, it's not breaking any copyright or anything to make a character that's similar to another character, even if they're almost exactly the same. Like if I made a fast running fucking blue porcupine, Sega couldn't sue me.
Yeah, it's like all these one-handed heroes and stuff can all be traced back to, the Norse god Tyr.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, Are they all ripping off Tyr, or is it just, someone thought, hey, that'd be cool?
Hey, but Tyr's in the free, what's it called? The free
rotation?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
The thing where anyone can use it whenever they want. Technically.
Fucking Tyr. When they brought out an Ash skin for Tyr, and like,
yeah.
fucking, I had like one of my friends that I played Smite with had never seen Evil Dead, so he thought it was like a Duke Nukem skin because he said "Hail to the King," and I'm like, well, I mean, Duke Nukem says "Hail to the King" because Ash says it. And then, like, I had to explain what Evil Dead was. And, like, when I was in the conversation with him, I was like, you are not nerdy enough to not know what Evil Dead is, so go sit down and pull up your Netflix.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Like, fucking...
Oh,
Evil
he has
Dead.
a fucking giant chainsaw sword and everything.
Yeah.
I've never looked that up until just now. And yeah, he's wearing the tank top. He has the fucking shotgun hand.
Yeah, he's closer to
Thick
guts than fucking Ashes, but... Oh my god, if you know 100% that Smite wished they could have gotten a deal with Miura to have Guts as a tier skin.
Oh, by far, yeah. They would have.
With the skins that they have right now that they keep getting deals with, 100% I'm sure somebody in that office has gone like, can we get a Guts skin for tier? Fucking Guts. Unless
Would they?
somehow nobody in that office has ever seen Berserk.
I doubt that.
Yeah, I feel like Smite is pretty anime friendly. They've had other anime-like skins, and they have Avatar
Anime friendly?
I mean, like,
Dude,
you know what I mean. They watch anime.
Jordan,
Probably.
there is a Bastet friend skin where if you say you are awesome, she says be my senpai.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, though. They
very
do a
weeb
lot
friendly.
of that. You know what I'm trying to say. They obviously know what anime is. They almost definitely know who Guts is.
I would hope so, because Guts is fucking amazing. I wish. Fuck. That also means like everybody's probably gonna be fucking sad about it. The next week, every fucking podcast that knows what just like has any history with Berserk or anything is gonna be fucking one of their people is gonna be talking about it.
Mm.
It sucks. So it's gonna be like a grieving process for a lot of people, and for me, it's probably gonna be pretty awful because I think almost every podcast I watch, someone on there knows what Berserk is, and is probably going to discuss it on their next podcast. Like I watched the Team 4-star one, they're probably gonna talk about it. The fucking Death Battle one's gonna talk about it because the fucking the guy who plays Boomstick fucking loves Berserk. The fucking other one I watch, Let's Fight a Boss, I think that they're all like anime fans, so they might talk about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck. So for me, this is gonna be a grieving process. It's gonna take forever. And I'm gonna be reminded of it every day for the next week and a half, probably.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably also gonna write a blog post. If you follow my blog, which you should, over at rascalsomething.com, it will probably, if you watch this on YouTube, already be out. But if you're watching this live, it'll come out sometime during the next week. And I'll probably have a more elegant, more thought out way of describing the way I feel about Berserk ending the way it has. Or whether or not it'll actually end, and whether or not I would continue on if someone else took over. And part of the reason I hadn't been reading Berserk for so long was because I was kind of waiting for him to finish it. Because I didn't want to get all the way to an end to where he currently had it, and then like wait 6 more months for another chapter to maybe come out. That's gonna be, I don't know. We're probably gonna catch up on it soon,
Mm-hmm.
and then figure out what I want to feel about that later. So yeah, I guess I'm hoping that whatever somebody does after this is closer to, while I still haven't read the ending of Dune, being more like the Dune situation where like he had like a list of things that he wanted to have covered before it ended, and a detailed explanation of how he wanted the ending to go, so that hopefully his assistants can like clean it up and maybe like make it into something that people will enjoy. As compared to like Douglas Adams, who died with no plans and no way to continue the series, and then somebody tried to continue it later and it was not very popular, and I never read it.
All you can pray for is that whoever now has the rights to all that doesn't just immediately sell it off to Netflix for a live action adaptation.
Yeah.
Well, The guy who made Castlevania has multiple times said that if they try to sell the rights to Netflix, he wants to have it. So is very also I feel like a live action adaptation of Berserk is probably one of the only anime that would ever work, since its characters are much closer to like real people than anime characters.
That's fair.
Traditionally all are. Oh, I also found
giant
out
glowing hair, or stretchy arms, or anything.
Yeah. It's like I also find out why it was when I was reading some of his backstory. Is he was kind of, when he was growing up, obsessed with shoujo manga, which is like the opposite of shonen manga. Shonen manga is traditionally for male children, and shoujo is for female. And a lot of the times, male characters in shoujo manga, you can see in his artwork.
What is that that's happening, Zach? What is that boom, 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 boom sound?
Oh, that was there was a piece of hair on my microphone, and I forgot that it was recording while ignore it.
Okay.
It's I forgot how microphones work for a minute.
Apparently, yeah.
Anyway, and like you can see that in the artwork, like in the way Griffith is drawn, in the way like Guts is drawn in a lot of shots and stuff. Where like in shoujo there tends to be a bigger focus on like, I think, male anatomy and sometimes accuracy to it, because it's meant to appeal to women or younger girls as compared. So it'd be closer to something like JoJo instead of like Dragon Ball or something.
Right.
Until Z, when Dragon Ball characters actually have to look like people. Also, I love Berserk. I love like the dichotomy of like, you know, Griffith is basically like what your traditional hero would look like, and Guts is like what your traditional villain would look like, but they're like the opposite roles. And like, no matter how you look at it too, it's like really hard to like fuck. Griffith is also not like, he's a bad guy, does bad things, but he's not like entirely bad. Does that makes sense? It's very much a like, what is it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of thing. Whereas like he's very, oh my god, I don't want to excuse anything Griffith does because he's a fucking monster. But like at the same time, it's like you understand what his goals are. It's kind of like, maybe I don't know how much of his ego plays into it. I guess is how it plays out. It's sort of like the idea where you believe kind of that a like totalitarian monarchy would work, but only if I am the monarch in charge of everything. And like that's sort of like Griffith's. That's what it feels like Griffith's ideology is when he's going about everything he does. It's all like setting the stage for him to eventually become like this monarch over all things. You know, like him sacrificing the Band of the Hawk, him still trying to convince Guts that he's not against him, like at the part where I was reading. Oh god, I love that manga. I wish. I'm sad now.
Yeah.
I know traditionally people like to do moments of silence, but at the same time I feel more like I like to talk about everything that they've done and try to remember the parts that I love the most about it rather than sit in silence.
Right.
So I guess it's more of the way I like to grieve instead of... Also, fuck everybody who gets offended about people complaining that Berserk didn't have an ending. You know who's most probably offended about the fact that Berserk doesn't have an ending is probably Miura. So, fuck you. dude, if you get offended that people are upset because he didn't end it, if he was alive, or if there was an afterlife, or however you want to look at it, the person most upset that it did not end when he passed away is going to be himself. And that's me speaking as like an artist who understands that life is finite and I might not finish what I plan to do before I die. So I'm sorry if you've never created anything or understand how that works, but
It's deep, man. That's deep.
Okay, now on to the stuff that actually won't hurt people inside.
Uh-huh.
Unless you're a fan of EG, because it's Dota Talk time.
Oh. Yay.
So, a brief touch on our drama from last week, in which OG accused Alliance of cheating on Twitter. Alliance, I already mentioned that Alliance is basically cleared of any wrongdoing. Valve stepped in and basically said they didn't do anything wrong because they followed the rules, but we are changing the rules so this doesn't happen anymore.
Right, because it was you're talking about like them having their coach or whatever.
Yeah. And basically on a live stream, said coach explained kind of the situation, which was that the rule change had happened, right? Alliance had contacted him, or S4 specifically, who was like the captain of Alliance, had contacted him and talked to him about the fact that this rule was changed and him coming on to be in the room with them as the coach in the room. So it wasn't just that it was a rule change. The whole reason he was there was because of this rule change.
Right.
Which kind of makes it feel a little gross, but...
Right, because they saw that it was the rule change, so he just jumped in.
Yeah, no, he saw that it was the rule change, specifically reached out and contacted him to bring him in.
Right, yeah.
Where he wouldn't have potentially been their coach otherwise.
Right, so it wasn't like necessarily the coach himself. It was, what'd you say his name was, SK or whatever?
S4. S4 is the captain of the team. He's the one who messaged him out of the blue, is what his wording was.
Right.
And to specifically discuss the rule change. Yeah, which makes it kind of like, and that also kind of makes it feel like not every team seemed to have read that email, or where their captains weren't like, I guess that line in the email wasn't clear enough for a lot of captains, because I don't think OG would have accused them of cheating if they had noticed that line in the email and realized that this was a thing people could do. But then on top of that, because of all this and the fact that OG is still angry about it, they have refused to scrim with Alliance since then. Scrimming is just what pros do when they play against each other to like make sure that they're all prepared for like the international stuff, because the only people you can play against are other professional teams, really.
Right.
So scrimming is there, like, off the clock playing against each other.
I see.
Well, I guess on the clock, but you know what I mean.
It's like practice, so they're
yeah.
They're like playing against each other to kind of get a gauge on what's gonna go on with the tournament and stuff.
It's sort of like to keep your skill up and stuff, and like just to like learn each other as players and stuff like that.
Right.
It's why, like, it's part of why breaking into the tier 1 Dota scene is actually really hard, is because your team has to get up to that point, but then you also have to know these players. And without scrimming against them enough, you're maybe not going to be able to do that. That works both ways, because if you don't scrim enough with them, they don't know you as well either, which means you might pull off a win against a good team because of it. Anyway, so we move on to the NA Tier 1 Finals, in which Quincy Crew has beat out EG. Now, EG is like our number 1 team. Quincy Crew was like our number 2 team. and like this season, Quincy Crew and Undying are basically almost equal to EG, which is like good for us because we have now like 3 teams instead of before where we maybe had 1, which was just EG by itself. But Quincy Crew beat EG. Now the way they beat EG, not everybody feels that they entirely agree with. And so I have to explain a few mechanics in Dota 2 for you guys to understand it. Maybe if I... Give me 3 seconds?
1,
2,
2,
3.
3,
It's here. Oh, there it is. It's right here.
4,
I'm done.
5,
5,
6.
6,
I have it.
7, 8,
Counting.
9, 10.
There.
You know I can't watch that while we're doing the podcast.
I know you can't, but Juan can. And like, oh my god, it's gonna take so much explanation. So in Dota 2, there is an item in the game. Jordan already knows this, but it's called the Oh, I moved my microphone too. That's probably why I hit it a couple times. Anyway, so there's an item in the game. One of the other people I watch is actually doing a Berserk art stream, and I just saw that. Now I'm sad again. Anyway, so there's an item in the game called the Divine Rapier. I don't think any other MOBA has an item like this, really, as far as I know. The Divine Rapier gives you a boatload of attack damage, but its downside is that if you die while carrying it, you drop it on the floor and the enemy team can pick it up.
Oh, that's awful.
So the clip I just linked for Juan to watch is about a Medusa who is carrying 2 Divine Rapiers and dies.
Huh.
And there is a mechanic in Dota 2 which is really silly, and well, maybe it's not a mechanic, maybe it's a bug. I don't know. Valve's never fixed it. It's been around for like 6 years or 15 years. Everybody knows about it. Well, 15 years since Dota 1 came or Dota 2 came out, so about 10 years. Everybody basically knows about it, but nobody's done anything about it. Is if your character is in uncontrolled movement when they die, and your death is shorter than the travel time of the movement, you will come back to life before it completes, or in the spot where it would complete. So if for example, in Dota 2, you can also spend a bunch of gold to bring yourself back to life when you die, right? This is also important to how this happens. So an example, not the example used in this, but an example is one of the characters is Timbersaw, and he'll throw out a chain, and if he links to a tree, it'll pull him to the tree. One of the stupid mechanics that you used to be able to do was you'd have this item called a Bloodstone, and the more kills you got around you while you had the Bloodstone, the shorter your respawn timer. And if you got it high enough, you could activate the Bloodstone. Well, another thing about the Bloodstone is you could activate it to kill yourself and heal everybody around you. So if you got it high enough, you would respawn instantly upon death. If you used Timber Chain, linked to a tree, killed yourself with the Bloodstone, you would revive where the Timber Chain ended instead of back at base where you should revive.
Huh. So even if you had the full timer, you'd still revive over there instead of at your base?
No, you have to. The time between of you being dead has to be shorter than the duration of the travel.
Oh, that's what you were saying earlier. So it's like,
yeah.
So like if you buy back immediately while your character would still be traveling, is
Yes.
what it would be.
So what happened and how Quincy Crew beat EG? Medusa bought 2 Divine Rapiers. Medusa can attack the entire team, which is why she buys Divine Rapiers, because it makes her really incredibly powerful. In this game, Medusa is tossed into the air. She dies while in the air. Player hits the buyback button as soon as he dies, Medusa lands at basically the same instant the Divine Rapiers hit the floor. On top of both Divine Rapiers.
So she just picks him right back up, right?
And kills the entire team of EG.
Uh-huh.
So, a lot of fans got pretty upset about that, as one probably would, when you just watch a player get tossed into the air, come back down, and kill your entire team, even though he died in between.
So it's like, if you have the gold to buy it back, it's like having a freaking Ankh or something.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of broken. It's pretty funny. I've seen it all the time because it happens all the time when you watch Fails of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Because people instant buy back and then they'll get fucking killed the second time because they're just not in a good position anymore. But fucking watching it happen in a pro game and the pro fucking annihilates its enemy team because they were still in the same good position they were before. Man, it's pretty funny. EG fans were really salty.
Like, I can see it being intentional, like, instead of you actually dying, since you bought back so quickly, you just go right back into the battle. But at the same time, I can also see it as a bug because they probably did not fully intend for that to be the case.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's really dumb. It's pretty funny. It's pretty silly. So, from there, Quincy Crew just beats out Undying, which was the last fight the team they had to play. And so Quincy Crew is our direct invites to the major. So Quincy Crew has basically taken EG's spot as like the best team in the region for this season, which is like really cool for us because now we have like a competitive team. I want like a real competitive scene in NA, so we don't just get like 2 maybe spots in the major, and we get like an actual start to like fill the major out and like have the same as every other region. But right now we're still like the worst region. Now, also importantly, is America's Division 2. So in America, we don't really like... America Dota doesn't do as well as it could, right?
Uh-huh.
We all agree with this, that, America Dota could do way better, like how it does in Europe, or China, or Korea. Well, not Korea. Every other place. Dota does way better than it does in America. So one of the personalities behind the Dota 2, one of the Dota 2 personalities in America, which are like people that do shit for Valve and shit, was like, how about I make a team, but we make them like the heel team, like the guys in wrestling that everybody loves to hate. And so they made a heel team in Dota 2, and of course they're fucking terrible. They like never win. They're just awful. But their whole point is to like create rivalries and make you want to watch them play.
Right.
Also, like, none of the players have pictures and shit, so like you don't know who's actually on their team.
It could be a new person every day.
And like they do that intentionally, like where the people who own the team have like dropped hints at who it could be and shit to like try and build intrigue for the team. What's important is that this team, which is basically not won anything, and is basically just there to try and build up fan base in the scene, has actually managed to get second place in the lower division of this season. Which means if they continue to do about this well, they might actually be able to be moved up to upper division and compete with real teams on real stages and cause all sorts of weird drama. Because that is the entire point of their team. If you don't know anything about Arkosh Gaming and you're kind of interested in any kind of gaming competitive scene, Arkosh is probably funny to look up. They are like the troll team that wants to make everybody hate them. pretty good. Entertainment wise, not actual play wise. Yeah, I want to watch more Darkesh Gaming. They're funny. Besides that, I think that some tournaments are coming to an end. I don't think they're all totally finished, but we generally know who's going to the major or not. I'd like to see the next major, so that's probably when my next real update is going to come. Is it ESL 1? We play? I don't know. I don't remember who's hosting the major, but it's coming up soon. I'll talk more about it once I know more about it. I think it only just got officially announced, the Anna major or whatever it is. Maybe they'll talk about guts and make me sad again. So anyway, that I think that's most of DotA talk for now. With things that I've done this week, I finished my Ninja Prime finally.
Oh god. Now you too can have the golden twink.
He's Prime, so he's gold AF.
Okay, so he's bright and shiny.
Yeah, I mean he also has that fucking deluxe skin, which makes him look beefy as fuck.
Yeah, you run around, leave a fire trail, stick some dudes on spears. Good time.
Throw halos at people.
Yeah.
Never take any damage because you have an immortal shield. That kind of play, that kind of character.
I kind of hate how every single Warframe pretty much has to have a 90 to 99% damage reduction buff, otherwise they're fucking unplayable.
Not all of them have it. There's nothing on fucking Excalibur.
Yeah, but he has 100% parry chance while fucking the Exalted Blade is up, so he doesn't count.
Yeah, and if you put, fucking healing return on his weapon, he has 1,000 HP a second.
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like if you have to give every frame 90% damage reduction, your game's just not balanced correctly.
Well, I mean, most... I don't actually know who has that kind of damage reduction. I know Lavos doesn't have it. He's pretty fun to play. I know Mesa has it, but Mesa's also reflects the bullets back at people or something.
Yeah.
Hers is also weird, and it doesn't last as long, so she becomes really energy hungry if you try to keep it up. But at the same time, it's you should be playing Zenric if you're playing Mesa anyway, and that should deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... The fact that Naros has one...
Neza has it. Naros... I mean, he just gets a fuckload of armor.
Yeah, but that's basically the same thing. And then when you combine that with his base armor, especially on a Naros Prime, that guy's got he's got so much HP and armor. Fuck you, and you put on whatchamacallit. You always use Umbra mods nowadays for fucking primes.
Yeah. Gara's got crazy DR. Ember has it now.
Yeah, but Ember's again is tied to her energy consumption.
Yeah. Some definitely aren't as easy to keep up as others. If you're playing Gara, it should never fall, ever.
It's true.
It only gets stronger and stronger as you go. Which Gara Prime is coming out, or is out, one or the other.
It will come out in 3 days. So yeah, that'll be fun to bring that back up. Instead of normal Gara, who just collects dust. I don't know. Some frames it's just some frames I like more as just they're more of a weapon tool. This is just a body to carry my weapons around, and I want fun weapons to use on them.
Yeah.
And I guess that's more of how Gara feels to me, but at the same time, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get her armor buff up, and if you do the whole shatter your ultimate ability to get the damage cloud going, combine that with a melee build, yeah, she just trucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, her abilities themselves aren't really doing anything. They're just keeping you safe for the most part. Just all
Yeah.
you really need. His melee's just broken.
Yeah, that makes me a little sad still that fucking, what was it, Korra never got an exalted whip. Instead, she's just an ability frame that, you kind of melee with sometimes.
Yeah.
And, fuck though. Man, I still play the shit out of Saren every once in a while though.
Can't go wrong with Saren.
It's fun to just melee the shit out of stuff and everything dies. Yeah, so, I mean, I mostly only played Warframe for like a little bit, so I don't have that much of a shit to talk about other than normal shit that we've already rehashed. So, Jordan, anything interesting happen to you this week?
Not that I can think of particularly.
Oh, a bird pooped on my dog's head this morning. She was apparently laying too still on the ground, and a bird just pooped right on her head.
Which one, Riley or Nami? Nami.
Riley.
Oh, poor Riley. She didn't deserve that. Nami did. But Riley did.
Nami is like too wiry. Like, there's no way a bird's gonna poop on her head.
True. Riley's
Riley-
too good of a dog.
Riley just trots around. Like, she doesn't really run unless she has to.
Yeah.
She's too big. She's too big a girl.
Yeah.
Too wide.
Considering she doesn't work out or anything, she actually looks kind of muscular. But that's probably just a Pitbull thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Pitbulls always look nice and stocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicest doggo in the world, though. I met a couple new Pitbulls that I hadn't met before, and they were immediately nice to me. I still don't understand. I mean, obviously I know what it is. It's from like the dog fighting shit and all that shit. Why people think that they're aggressive. But every Pitbull I have ever met in real life has always been like the nicest dog in the world.
Yeah. It's from like around the time Jordan was born. There was just a case of like a drug dealer who had a dog that murdered a 2-year-old.
Huh.
And that's like where, and then we decided that it was the dog's fault, not the drug dealer's fault.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. People want to blame nature instead of nurture.
Mm-hmm.
But people are all also like that fucking, like I fucking saw a thing on Twitter the other day about some fucking asshole who's like, if we needed masks, then we would have evolved masks. I'm like, that's not
What?
fucking how evolution works, fucktard.
What? What are we gonna become, like fish people with like webbed mouths and shit? What,
Yeah, dude,
what is that show that had something like that?
I don't know.
I don't
Was
know.
it the same like politician a few years ago that said if a woman is being raped, she would naturally be able to defend herself from it or something? Like
Yeah, they'd
Oh,
grow
yeah, that
teeth
did
or some
happen, yeah.
shit in their special
Yeah, they
place.
just bite your dick off with their vagina. That's what happens.
like
That's not
God.
how life works.
Like at a certain point, you hope people are just trolling and they're not actually that stupid, but you never know.
Well, I mean, you know how fucking people like that are.
They always blame the victim.
Well, no, I mean more of the other thing. It's like tied to this whole like mindset of like humans are like this kind of like pinnacle of fucking evolution. The whole fucking like supremacist bullshit.
Mhm.
But we are the master race.
And like this idea that there isn't really that much beyond us, and then it's like, yeah, no, first off, we would evolve to be able to, as a species, would evolve to be able to resist COVID-19 or basically any disease on the planet. That's true. Society probably wouldn't survive that. We'd be in a completely different society way later.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, like, we could evolve to do it. The species would do it. You as an individual can't do it because you can't change your DNA
Yeah.
without radiation
It'd
and all
be
sorts of other poisons that we actually do to change people's DNA.
it'd be like a lot of breeding between people with stronger immune systems and shit.
Yeah. that would create people with stronger immune systems, and then even stronger immune systems, until everybody with weaker ones just fucking dies, and then we all become Viltrumites and take over the universe.
I don't know about
Well-
you guys, but I could definitely evolve fast enough to beat COVID-19. See, my body can do this thing called produce antibodies.
What the heck are you talking about? What is this legendary antibody thing? What is this thing people call white blood cells? Blood is red, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Fucking
so see,
Quad trolls me in the worst ways.
if I come into contact with any form of illness, my body has this miraculous ability to just start fighting off the illness, and then basically it remembers the illness.
Strange.
I know how our bodies work.
Strange.
What I'm saying is that, like, yes, sure, eventually over time, we could evolve to where, like, we have a very sophisticated immune system, which is already ridiculous, but we gained that through years and generations of evolution of probably not having one as sophisticated, and then the people who didn't have the good one died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
So I
happens.
mean, and ours isn't like perfect. It still has things that are going to eventually that can kill you and harm you and stuff over time.
The sad thing
Yeah.
is not a lot of the time, but some of the time, well, maybe it is a lot of the time, I don't know. But there's some of the time it's not the actual sickness that kills you, it's your body trying to get rid of the sickness that ends up killing you, because that's what makes you super sick. Like your
Yeah,
allergies and shit, it's not the allergen itself that's causing you to your body to go crazy. It's your body reacting to the allergen that's cutting off your throat and oxygen and making your face itch and making you scratch into your arm so glad that you're bleeding to the fucking bone. It's not the allergen itself. It's not the fucking pollen. It's your body. So it's like
Yes,
sometimes the blood cells are just way too overreaction, and that's part of the part that they're not perfect.
The human body is just as dumb as it is intelligent.
Yeah, yeah, and as anybody who has ever studied biology will explain to you, there is no end point in evolution. Not unless we reached a point where we were literally capable of changing and rewriting our DNA on the spot. That would be literally the end point of evolution if there ever was one, because then that'd be like a species that could rewrite its own DNA on like as it needed to. It would evolve on demand, which is insane.
I don't know that the human species would ever become that, but it is possible. Like something like a frog or chameleon might be able to do something like that, because they can already change their genders and change their chromosomes and shit.
Yeah, I guess so. Like something that already is becoming more like I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I don't
yeah,
know if it's really possible, but if it is,
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that it'd be like some sort of reptile or amphibian than it would be like us, a mammal.
Or it'd be like some amorphous blob that pretends to be other things every once in a while.
Yeah, something like that.
It'd be like
Which one
something.
you ditto.
Yeah, or what is it? The changelings from Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd be closer to that. That would be closer to like a pinnacle of evolution. Something that could just be like, I'm a dinosaur today. I'm a dinosaur, but what if small? You know what I mean? Like it'd be somebody who could do whatever they wanted with their DNA.
That would be pretty cool. But
Yeah,
sadly
and then
not
you'd have
us.
to. Yeah, and then you'd have to like. The question then would become like, what is consciousness, and how could this thing be conscious if it can like rewrite its brain every day?
Well, maybe its brain is the only thing it doesn't rewrite.
Well, then that would limit its ability to rewrite its own DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So it'd have to be able to rewrite its DNA, its brain as well.
Yeah. What if it needs to rewrite itself to be immune to headshots? Can't do that if it has to have a solid brain.
I
Yeah,
mean, if it makes its brain solid enough, then it still becomes immune to headshots.
Also,
Just saying.
everybody who's wondering and has noticed that I've clearly thought about this a lot more than I'm letting on. In case you are wondering, that is one of the underlying themes of some of my fiction is what if what person could be whatever they wanted at any instant. And it's like what the moral decisions and right things to do if you had that kind of ability. Because how far, like, for example, if you controlled the atoms in your very being to be able to rewrite your own DNA, how far past your physical body would that power extend?
Right. Because, like, you know, you inhabit food to create more stuff in your body, and then you get rid of it to get rid of it. So how far could that actually go? Like, if you touched a wall, could you absorb that wall with you when you started transforming or some shit?
Yeah, like how much of you is you? Are you, or you and the air that flows around and through you? Are you plus whatever you touch? It's like a weird, multi-level, insane concept.
Like, if you're able to mess with yourself on such a molecular level, what stops you from being able to mess with other things on a molecular level?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
So anyway, if you're interested in that kind of ridiculous storytelling, but over a very, very, very long period of time, you should come read the stuff that I post on RazioSomething.com. It's pretty great. Yeah, so anyway, did we have like a major topic we were going to bitch about today?
We were going to talk about Geralt, but we haven't gotten to that apparently yet.
Oh, well, let's talk about Geralt.
My boy Geralt.
By Geralt, we're not talking about Geralt, actually. We're talking about Henry Cavill, who's distinctly different in the fact that Henry Cavill is a pretty good actor who is shoved into some directors who didn't seem to, which I argue do not understand the character or want to portray the character. They probably do, actually. I think at this point, Zack Snyder maybe does actually understand Superman and is choosing to not portray him as he is in the comics and TV and stuff. So instead of fun Superman, we get dark, brooding Superman, which,
Maybe he's trying to make him more ominous, more like, kind of like an Omni-Man type deal, not just Superman.
It was like a plan to build him towards closer to the Injustice Superman and stuff.
Which is a much more interesting take on Superman anyways. I mean, goody two-shoes Boy Scout is kind of just, it's fun for a bit, but I feel like more audience wants to see, you know, the bad boy Superman.
But I think Superman from Batman Beyond.
But I think that's more like the mix of, like, I think you need kind of the goody two-shoes Superman for the bad boy Superman to, like, work at all.
Impactful. Yeah.
And so I think it's like comic book fans or people who kind of are familiar with the character kind of want to see like the different takes, but people who like either are like really fans of Superman or not really fans of Superman at all would probably prefer more of like the happy-go-lucky Boy Scout fun guy to be around Superman, because without us knowing what that is, like, how are we supposed to like put a frame of reference on the other Superman?
Yeah.
It's like, because I mean, I don't want people to go to Superman comics and think that he's going to be like this guy who's always like, well, I could just kill you all and do whatever I wanted, and I'm just choosing not to because I'm so nice. As compared to him being this like really chilled out dude who's just like, I have superpowers, so what? I fucking smoke pot and fucking hang out on a fucking farm. I don't think he actually smokes pot because he's too much of a Boy Scout, but I feel like really realistically, like if Superman was written today with the same ethos as he's always been, or that has been tried to be written with him, he would fucking smoke pot. He'd chill out, he'd smoke pot, he'd have a beer or something.
Okay, but we weren't talking about him being Superman. We were talking about him being
So
possibly.
all I got was this very vague little blurb from IGN's Instagram that Henry Cavill is in talks to do a Highlander reboot. And there's no hard information about who he's in talks with or who he wants to play, but he wants to be Highlander, or at least in Highlander.
So here's what I want to say. I fucking love that idea of him. Actually, I love the idea of Henry Cavill playing anybody that he like fits, that he fits well enough. My main problem with the idea of a Highlander reboot is like, like what? Is there like a book series tied to Highlander, or is it just like the movie and like the TV show and stuff?
I don't know too much farther beyond Highlander, or like much about like if there's a deeper lore to all of it. I just know there can only be one. That's pretty much it.
Wasn't the Highlander like TV series like modern, where it was like just some guy in the world and there was another Highlander or some shit? And
Okay,
there can
yeah,
only
it
be
is.
one?
It is a film series, and then I think it also has some. Okay, it had a TV show that was true too. Yeah, I remember that. And then I guess it also had some books and stuff that are spin-offs of the film series. But really, it's the
Primarily
films.
it's
Like,
films, yeah.
yeah. So basically, I think if you took away everything from Highlander outside of the fact that he's from Scotland and there can only be one, I think you can write whatever fucking movie you want.
Yeah.
And I just would hope that it's somebody who has a fucking idea of what to do with the movie.
Because I mean, as long as you have a bunch of cool fucking sword fighting and like some quasi supernatural shit going on, it'll be a good time.
Speaking of sword fighting, did you guys know that behind the scenes, every fucking time Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor did any lightsaber fightings for the prequels, they always went pew 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 choo choo choo.
Yeah.
I think I did
That's
hear
why the
that at some
prequels
point.
were the best.
But like, there's some stuff like where they're talking about what they did in the prequels, and then like some people are like, how did they ever film these movies? Like how do you get through this movie with like those two guys going pew 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 pew? Like what?
I wish I was on set. I wish they kept those in. I wish they kept them going pew pew pew.
Yeah, like so they could put it together as like an outtake. So it's like they do the whole scene, but they cut out all the sound effects and the music, and it's just the two actors going pew 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 pew.
That'd be amazing. That'd be the best movie ever. Even if it was the official movie, that would be amazing for me. If that was really what Star Wars
yeah, like
was.
it had like some scenes where like some crazy stuff that happened, like the space battles and shit that are happening in the final scene, right? In Revenge of the Sith. And then every time it cuts to them, they're going cha cha pew pew pew.
That'd be amazing. That'd be the
like
best
all the
in
sound
world.
dies. All the sound dies, and it's just them going pew pew. That'd be fucking hilarious. That would just turn it into this weird joke movie that.
It'd be like Evil Dead Star Wars.
Yeah. But again, that's what's pretty funny about the prequels is that clearly Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen's had a shitloads of fun behind the scenes. So they were really enjoying making those movies, which is probably why they became so memeable and like weird and whatever they are now.
About the motherfucking prequels, bitch.
Oh my god, I saw one of the funniest memes the other day, and it was Anakin's talking to Mace Windu, and Anakin's like, "You told me to repair C-3PO, but I don't really understand what's wrong with him." And then Mace Windu goes, "He keeps calling you Master Skywalker, and I don't remember you being one."
Burn. That is a burn. All right, well, that'll be our ending topic. Any final thoughts before we go out tonight? Zach.
I mean, yeah, just the prequels were the best. The original trilogy can suck it, and the new trilogy can suck it.
What's the video? Do you watch any Viva La Dirt League one?
I watch them every now and again, yeah.
They did the whole Star Wars movies, and he's like, "Which one's your favorite one?" And he goes, "Oh, I love the first one." Oh, he's like, "Oh, but by the first one you mean?" And then they both say, or one of them, A New Hope, and the other one says Phantom Menace, and they get so fucking mad at him.
Nice.
Owen plays the heel so fucking well.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've never watched Viva La Dirt League on YouTube, you should check them out, or Facebook, or wherever they fucking post their videos. Just plug shit. Like we should have a segment at the end of this podcast where we plug a random person's shit that we really like that we saw on the internet that day.
Like they have a whole like fucking NPC logic, like just video chain, and it's great. Like if you ever played like just an old school MMO, It'll hit you right in nostalgia.
Yeah.
And they just put together their fucking giant production, Balin's Route.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that was so fucking funny. That was so hilarious. Anyway, I guess I don't really have anything else to say that I can think of. Anyway,
Okay. Well then, tell them where they can find you.
as I said multiple times in this podcast, you can find me over at razielsomething.com and razielsomething on Twitter and razielsomething on Facebook. I'm going to write something about my feelings towards the passing of Miura later this week, and it'll probably be up by the time this is posted on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, just head on over there and give it a read. It'll be under my fictional rant section probably, because that's where I put stuff related to fiction.
Alrighty, Matt, tell them where Matt, tell them where they can find you. Alright, Juan, tell them where they can find you.
Picking up homeless chicks in the local soup kitchen. Damn it, I couldn't get it.
Okay.
Why don't we get us fucking canceled?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You can find me right here on twitch.tv/stupidnerdman or YouTube on the Stupid Nerdcast channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the podcast. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!